just to repeat for a moment, thinking about this morning, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose day of commemoration and celebration of his achievements is tomorrow. And learning this morning how difficult it was to establish that day in the United States. It was very vehemently opposed by certain members of Congress and by President Reagan, who only signed it reluctantly because there was enough votes to overturn his veto. So I think it's easy to imagine that kind of conversation happening and that kind of division, because we see it in the spotlight's been on the United States Congress so much in recent days. So easy to imagine it for me anyway, how that could be opposed. Although it seems very unreasonable to me to oppose it. But to bring forward the vision, something of the vision, not that I can in any way summarize or consider myself having a deep understanding of his message and his vision, but it certainly has touched me in my life. And one aspect of that vision, which is very dharmic, very in alignment with the Buddhist vision, is his sense of what he called the beloved community, and which inspired his work and inspired those who joined with him to try to achieve racial justice, an ongoing work, a lot left to be done. He talked about beloved community in a way that really brought home that we, from the moment that we're born, we are in connection with all people of the world. A way that he expressed that it's by including, it's by respecting, it's by listening, that we come to a sense of our shared common life, and that none of us is free, none of us is can truly be have a sense of well-being. Well, as long as somebody else is oppressed, as long as there are other people who are oppressed, we cannot truly celebrate our own freedom. That freedom is not something which is a personal kind of achievement. Yes, we can have much more spiritual freedom than we had. We can let go of habits of suffering, addiction, that have perhaps bound us in habits of unhappiness and unskillfulness. And the more that, I think that the more that we realize a sense of freedom on a personal level, the more we can recognize that it's not something that is done, that is achieved or is realized in isolation. And the more we realize that our freedom is bound up, our liberation is bound up with the liberation of all. And in speaking about the beloved community, as MLK did, he had that greater vision, and he challenged us to see in what ways are we ignoring. He challenged white people in particular to look at how we are ignoring the oppression of Black people, people of color. And so I think that it's really important that we include that as a dimension of our practice, that our practice, yes, is to we don't want to be caught in the kind of the cycles and the snares of just trauma and contraction and grasping, with that leads to just more of the same. And we may recognize that we want to be free of that. And it's important to see it also in the context of the larger picture, and that ask ourselves, in what ways are we perpetuating the conditions of suffering, the conditions of oppression for others. And so I just want to honor, to celebrate an extraordinary human being whose Christian spirituality was very profound, very much in alignment, I think, with the values that we are exploring and cultivating as Buddhist practitioners. And in particular, this sense of Sangha that, we often talk about how much we care about it and how much it supports us to really open that up, to open up what does Sangha mean to us, and recognize that it's very profound, it's very wide-ranging, that Sangha also means that we need to care and respond to and act to alleviate suffering and to do what we can to end oppression of people based on the color of their skin, based on their gender identity, their sexual orientation, their religion, their expression, physical expression of ability, disability. We're invisible abilities, disabilities. Financial status, financial realities. So all of these factors I didn't mention that cause people to be at the margins. I was listening this morning on CBC to an interview with a woman named Barbara Smith, not somebody that I knew previously, but she is a professor, a social activist, and she said everybody is saying they want to get back to a normal life. She said, as a Black woman, the idea of normal that many people are holding out for, just being able to get about doing their lives and living their lives, and like that is not something that she can say that she really knows, because she talked about this person that she knows. I don't remember if she knows her personally or heard of her through social media, but this doctor, medical doctor, who was letting people know on Facebook that a Black medical doctor who she was being terribly treated, not being able to get medical attention, and eventually she died of COVID. So, and she attributed this to not being treated equitably as a Black woman. So the kind of normal lives that many white people just want to get back to is not the normal life for Black people and people of color, because as many will attest, they don't experience it. So let's it's not to, I'm not saying this to promote guilt or self reproach, but to inspire us, those of us who identify as white, to really work to bring about change, and to bring about this vision of a beloved community, which is inclusive of all. So just want to also remind you that following the sit today, I'll end the sit at 11:30 or end the formal session 11:30, and then we'll have some time, 15 to 20 minutes or so, to just gather informally as an option, if you feel that you have the time and you'd like to just have some unstructured time to touch base as a community and just talk about whatever's on your mind, on your heart. So I'd like to invite you now to move into a meditation posture, however that might be, whatever that might be for you. So whether it's sitting or lying down or in a chair, or however you feel is most supportive for you this morning. And as we begin, we can feel the earth supporting us. And let's invite the body to simply relax into that support, that simple experience of being held by gravity. And relaxing into the support of the earth, we can just feel into the body and notice if there's any contraction, any tension being held in the body. And just invite that to let go and trust that sense of being held, that sense of being supported. Feeling, bringing attention to the face, the eyes, the jaw, the skull. Letting the face and head relax. The throat, the neck. Sometimes lots of tension held. The sides of the neck, the base of the skull. We're just allowing, inviting a softening, an opening. Not that it should be any particular way. Not trying to perfectly relaxed. Just letting go of that idea that it has to be a certain way. Just the tension that we hold unconsciously. We hold on to the body unconsciously. Tightening, closing ourselves, protecting ourselves. And inviting that to soften and open. And bringing attention downward from the throat to the shoulders and the chest. Letting the shoulders drop and soften. Letting the heart soften. Relax. Open. If we find that the heart feels tight, contracted, we might bring some compassion to the defended heart. And bringing the attention downward to the navel, feeling into the body behind the navel. If that feels okay for you, that feels safe and available. And again, noticing if there's a tightness, a contraction in the belly, and inviting that to soften and open. And then bringing the attention lower to the area just about a hand's width below the navel. In the Tibetan system of chakras or energy centers, it's called the secret chakra. And again, inviting that to relax, to open into a sense of being grounded on the earth. And perhaps for a few breaths, just bringing attention to that whole line from the crown of the head the throat, the heart, the navel, the secret chakra, opening at the crown of the head to the space above, opening at the bottom, the secret chakra, to the earth below, to feel that the body is aligned and connected, and breathing fully through that whole alignment from heaven to earth, earth to heaven. Opening to that interbeing, that interconnectedness of our lives with all that is, which is the vision of beloved community, which is the vision of Sangha. And perhaps bringing an inspiration or an intention that what we do in practice is valuable, is a valuable contribution to that vast web of interbeing. That what we do in bringing an intention to be free, to open the heart, to that loving connection, to that compassionate connection, is itself something precious and valuable that contributes beneficially to the stream of being, the river of being of which we are a part. And so let's continue our practice in whatever way you feel is most nourishing, connecting with the breath, connecting with the body, connecting with the openness of being. Connecting with that alignment between heaven and earth. And patiently, kindly, compassionately, beginning again as the habits of mind draw us into different kinds of grasping or resisting or spacing out or restlessness or doubt or fear or whatever patterns we are caught up in. We don't need to judge those or reject those patterns. We can acknowledge them. We can be aware of how painful they are. We don't need to identify with them. We can see that they come and go. They arise and pass away. And we can reground ourselves. In a more skillful focus for our attention. And or simply attending to the openness through which these different experiences arise and pass away, that openness of awareness. What's most skillful for you in this moment? What's most supportive for your practice this morning? when you notice that the mind has gone off in some drama or some monologue or imagined conversation or fantasy, as you come back, as you bring your attention back to this moment, to this breath, bring your attention back to your body and just notice if there's some tightness, some contraction somewhere. Notice how your body is very attuned, very linked in to the mind, the movements of the mind. Inviting the body to release, to let go, coming back, beginning again. Finding a moment of stillness, of openness. In the last few minutes of the practice, I invite you to breathe into the heart, to bring your attention to that heart center. And bring a sense of that profound connection, the interbeing, the beloved community, the Sangha, universal Sangha, of which we are a part, which holds us and which we also hold, which we support by our presence, by our caring, by our love and our commitment. And that sense of connection can awaken a benevolence, a goodwill, for all beings, all living beings, all breathing beings, all sensitive beings, all systems that support life, that are part of life. Not only the birds, but the air in which the birds fly, not only the animals that live on the earth, including human beings, but the earth itself. And the trees and the green life, all the flora, as well as the fauna of the earth and the oceans, lakes and rivers that flow through our bodies in the form of water and lymph and blood. A sense of goodwill, an intention, a wish that all beings, all life systems may be well, may be at peace, rejoicing in the goodness, bringing compassion for the suffering and the pain. And opening a mind, heart of equanimity, that everything is just as it is. May our practice and our lives serve and support the happiness, well-being, and liberation of all beings.